A bright light glows deep in a forest. We see the lower half of a man's face trembling with fear, the skin pale. He clutches his leg. "I can't feel it," he says. Suddenly, another warrior bursts out of the forest, screaming in horror. The wounded soldier looks around, panicking as though someone is chasing him. Under a nearby tree, a third warrior sits trembling. He asks, "Where are the others?" Someone shouts back, "They're all dead." We see the creature that destroyed them. A human-bodied monster wearing an animal skull as a helmet. All the soldiers fell to that monster. Running out of the forest, a soldier yells furious, "We're rank 40 and we're all PK pros. There's no way one naked psycho killed them all." He doesn't get a reply. 3 darts suddenly lodge in his temple. Blood flows from his eye. A black whirlwind approaches the wounded man. He freezes, shaking with horror, staring at his fallen comrade. Then he peers into the forest and yells, "Show yourself! The bastard who did this!" The monster steps forward calmly. The skull's eye sockets glow in eerie yellow light. "What kind of monster are you?" the soldier screams. "Who am I?" the monster replies. We see in the distance a castle surrounded by blazing fire. Red energy crackles around the monster. A warrior breathes heavily, clutching his side. He says, "I've taken too much damage." He realizes the monster is Battle God Damien, level 900, Field of Honor rank 1. His body glitches with warning messages. His stats are dropping. He bleeds. He can't use his skills. He's weakened, sealed, dying. He thinks, "Damn it. Were there always this many status effects in the game?" Then another warning pops up, petrification. His movement slows. He coughs up blood. He looks up thinking, "Not even Saint Magnus or the High Heaven Immortals could save me now." Another warrior appears, surprised the first is still alive. "You're like a cockroach. I respect your stubbornness." A message pops. Before us stands King Arthur, Demon King expedition leader. The young man reaches out and calls the newcomer a bastard. Before them is a skull-clad monster with huge horns and sharp teeth. The blonde King Arthur sends red energy blasting from his palm at the brunette man. "What did you say?" he shouts. A red warning flashes. "Stamina has fallen below the threshold. You may be logged out." Damien braces himself. King Arthur smirks. "Why did I do this?" he taunts. Over his shoulder we see Lord of the Abyss Abraxas, raising his mana and preparing a demonic technique. King Arthur spreads his fingers wide. "How dare you!" he shouts. A massive explosion erupts. Damien stares at Arthur, thinking, "Damn, that ultimate is impressive, no matter how many times I see it." Arthur delivers a brutal punch to Damien's stomach. Damien doubles over, cradling his gut. King Arthur, holding a menacing weapon, looms over Damien. He says, "A loser should live like a loser. Garbage should act like garbage." "The lower class should know its place," Damien cries out, in agony, as Arthur strikes him while he's down. Arthur sneers, "But a loser bastard like this became a hero. That's a serious mistake, don't you think?" Damien, trembling all over, looks up at Arthur's arrogant face. Where did I go wrong? He wonders. Damien's mind drifts back to 10 years ago, to the time Arzia Chronicle released its first virtual reality game, a Sea Chronicle. Graphics were so lifelike. They promised, defeat the Demon King, get the first clear reward, build your own kingdom, become the hero of this virtual world. Everyone threw themselves in. Damien did too. His family begged him to quit. He refused. The game was everything. Then he met King Arthur, real name Jiangyi, a servant of the goddess Aria, possessing the Infinite Circle, which grants endless mana. Arthur, with his dragon head staff and charismatic leadership, helped lead Damien's team into the Demon King's castle dungeon. They fought. They won. Damien believed in Arthur. Back in the present, Damien lies face down. Arthur stands triumphant. I guess the world needs people like you, Arthur says. Thanks to you, we beat the dungeon and killed the Demon King. Damien finds strength to raise his head. Were you planning betrayal from the start? He asks weakly. Arthur draws his sword. Of course, he replies. Damien bows his head, helpless. Arthur glares. Useless parasite, he screams. I hated you from the start. Damien braces for the final blow. Is this how I die? He thinks. Just because of that traitor, without achieving anything. In his mind, a voice whispers, I understand how you feel. I am the old evil Lord of the Abyss, Abraxas. Arthur looks startled. The voice continues. Kill the goddess of light, Area. I appoint the Avenger, Arthur snarls. I'll crush your skull. He attacks. Damien lies on the ground, a white glow above his body. Then, darkness. He wakes up, screaming, panting, dirt in his hair. He's in a small brick building near a parked truck. He doesn't know what's happening. He looks at his surroundings. This is my room. Why am I here? A man enters. Jinhoon, come eat. Damien realizes that his name here is Ma Jin-sung. He's wearing a school uniform. He should be in the military, but here, he's a student. He's 10 years in the past. Am I really back in time? He thinks. He eats home-cooked rice, his mother and younger brother looking at him in surprise. He tastes his mother's cooking, one of his happiest memories. He looks at the calendar, July 28, 2020, the day AC Chronicles beta test is released. He grabs his phone. Advertisements show Swords and Magic, a world of endless adventure, the first virtual reality game. The title, A Sea Chronicle. Today is open beta, he murmurs. Before leaving the house, his mother says goodbye. He promises to keep in touch, take care of himself. He rides in a car toward Jumjong Station, sitting in the back seat, overwhelmed. He looks out the window and realizes everything's changed. He is really 10 years in the past. Then his phone screen lights up. System is activating. A countdown appears. If you do not log into the game in 16 hours, 59 minutes, 58 seconds, you will die. He panics. He tries steadying himself. Music, voices, something familiar. He steps off the car. In front of him is the Evertale store, a virtual reality game shop. The salesman behind the counter greets him politely. Do you want to get one released today? She asks. She shows him a capsule, VR equipment. A demonstration model, she says. It's refurbished, used only for display. He gives her his card and buys it. She's surprised, maybe thinking he's rich, but he's just desperate. They install it that afternoon. Notifications appear. User registration begun. 84%, 99%, 100%. Virtual reality mode synchronized. You have successfully connected to the game AC Chronicle. Will you start? He hesitates. The screen shows error messages, main protocol blocking, DHCP warning, etc. It's chaos behind the system windows. Meanwhile, at Evertale headquarters, Oracle department, operator Chloe sees warnings, alarms blinking. Code black, she announces over the speaker. A man in glasses suddenly jumps up from his seat. What the heck? What is going on? This is an emergency, he shouts. Take action now, he orders. Chloe screams, terrified. Team leader, come here at once. A man in a white coat runs toward her. What's wrong? He cries. He is Kim Hoken, head of Oracle. He stares at a huge screen full of warnings. Both he and Chloe are scared. When did this start? Hoken asks. It just did. We don't know why, Chloe replies. Hoken rubs his chin, frowning. The system that protects the main network, the Akashic Record, has begun losing control, Chloe explains. If the blocking protocol keeps failing, the whole main system and possibly the entire game could be erased. On the screen, a white sphere, an AI core, hovers like a creature. It's a hyper-AI that has created an unknown zone no one has explored. Oracle has been monitoring it, but if anything goes wrong, it could wipe everything out. Alerts flash. The right to control the main system keeps dropping, 48%, then 36%, then under 25%. The Akashic Record is literally eating the server. Hoken swears and slams his palm down. Give up control of the mainstream, he orders the team leader. His partner tugs at him, but he snaps at her. We can't lose AC. He hits the red emergency button with all his force. A blue circle and pixels appear as the system tries to respond. The Akashic Record pauses its blocking protocol. A big sign reads, Mainstream activate. It's starting now, Hoken says. 3 messages appear on a console. A player has connected. Player, Damien. Connection date, July 29th, 2020. The screen confirms the hero's connection log. On a small island, a man in plain clothes sits by a huge boulder. 2 messages show his location. Whispering Island. Welcome to Aria. The man looks up and whispers, I really did come back. He thinks about 10 years of gameplay and the names that haunt him. He remembers Zhang Wei, the one who betrayed and killed him in his past life. This person thinks everyone has their place, the man mutters, remembering Zhang Wei's cruel words. Insects act like insects. Commoners should stay commoners. But bastards who failed in life become heroes. What a mistake. Anger burns in him. He punches the ground. I'll find you, Zhang Wei, he promises. I'll make sure not even your ashes remain. Yellow energy flares from his fists. You'll regret ever playing this game, he vows. Then he realizes where he is. Shouldn't I start at the village? He wonders. He frowns at the blue system window. The connection log confirms his arrival, and then a set of grim rules appears. A countdown has begun. The system warns of 3 fatal conditions. If you do not log into the game within 168 hours, you will die. If your character dies, you die. If you fail to complete a goal within the given time, you die. What is this? He screams, clutching his head. A new message says his sensory limits have been removed. Pain rips through him. Another window appears. His final goal has been reset. Final goal. Demon King's Descent. Time remaining. An absurdly long number of hours. He glares at the window. This damn game, he shouts. 2 more notices appear. His eventual class will be decided by the final goal. His new class is revealed, one he never wanted, Witch Doctor. The system explains in plain terms. Witch doctors use primitive, death-tied powers. Ancient sorcery, curses, poisons, summons of bones, blood, corpses, and souls. Their identity is mysterious. They treat death like salvation. He blinks in disbelief. The class is officially listed. Witch Doctor, Level 1. Affiliation, none. Alignment, incredibly low. An absurd negative number. Title, Atrocity. Stats, Strength 1, HP 1, Agility 1, Intelligence 1, Talent 1, Luck 1. His mouth falls open. My stats are terrible, he says. A detailed description follows. Witch Doctor spells deal damage over time. Poison is a key subclass, and attacks cause lingering damage. He can only learn more skills when he reaches level 10. Then more alerts slam into him. He's been flagged as a criminal. His alignment is unbelievably low, so low the number is almost impossible. An alignment penalty is applied. He trembles. That number. It would mean I killed 1 billion people, he cries. Is this a bug? Penalty windows list harsh consequences. 500% less experience on death, 500% higher chance to drop items when you die, 500% higher chance equipment will break on death. Safe zones are nullified. NPCs will attack him. Tears stream down his face. You've got to be kidding me, he whispers. A penalty like this brands him a demon king in the eyes of the world. He steadies himself. I received this second chance, but my life is at stake, he thinks. He covers his face for a moment, cursing everything. In a nearby village called Dunan, an elderly man named Elmore sits in his home. A new adventurer, wearing a paper bag over his head, enters. Why the paper bag? Elmore asks. It's cool, the newcomer says through the eye slits. Elmore looks at him like he's an idiot and clears his throat. Still, he hands the newcomer a quest paper. The Whispering Island is overrun with chicks. They've eaten all the feed. Catch 10 of them, Elmore instructs. Our hero approaches a small chicken hiding behind bushes. A tiny point is lodged in the chick's rear, an odd, comic image. He kneels, exhausted. I forgot I have only 1 HP, he mutters. A quest notification pops up. Tutorial quest. Catch 10 chicks on the Whispering Island, collect 10 yellow feathers. Progress 10%. Reward. Elmore's beginner set. He breathes hard and checks his skill menu. Names flash, shooting poison needles, control the dead, bloody impulse, corrupted elixir, voodoo doll, zombification. He frowns. He can only pick 1 skill now. The rest unlock when he reaches level 10. He steels himself and uses a crude spit tube weapon. He hits more chicks in the same weak spot. I just caught one, he pants. A system message confirms. You defeated a chick, you gained XP. At Ian Group's Skyscraper, executives watch the game launch. Capsules sold out the first day. A blonde young man wipes his face and smiles as he talks on the phone with his director. Have you prepared what I asked for? He asks. Yes, young master. The fastest leveling method, the best class, every item ready. He settles into his chair with satisfaction. This man is Zhang Wei, King Arthur in the game, a pro gamer and the 4th grandson of the Ian Group's president. He's confident, smug. Now it's time to turn this game around, he says, and looks up at birds flying past the window. Back on Whispering Island, the hero collapses to one knee, exhausted but alive. A blue glow signals a level up. Level 2, he shouts, trembling from fatigue and relief. He has gained 5 stat points, more than normal for a level up. Normally, a level gives 2 points, getting 5 hints that something unusual is happening. He grins. Is this because I have a hidden class? He wonders. His eyes flash with predatory resolve. Wait for me, Jiangwei. I'll shred you to pieces, he cries. He flees through the village, chased by a horde of angry chickens. Villagers stare in shock as the birds swarm him, pecking and clawing. An absurd, chaotic scene. The hero runs, breathing hard, as chickens close in, turning his simple tutorial into a frantic escape. 3 young men stood together, watching the chaos unfold in the distance. One of them frowned, pointing. What's with that paper bag on his head? Is he a Tamer? Another shook his head. No way. Tamers only raise one strong familiar. That guy's surrounded by chickens. What even is that? They kept watching as the birds swarmed closer to the strange man. At this rate, he's gonna die, one muttered. But before they could laugh, the paper bag guy, Jin Sung, spun around and fired a dart from his blowpipe. It struck one of the chickens right between the eyes. The rest shrieked and rushed at him in fury. Jin Sung flinched in surprise. Was that too much? He thought, then turned and started running again. But even as he ran, he smirked to himself. If I want to finish Elmore's quest quickly, gathering a whole flock like this might be the best move. He glanced around, searching for something. It should be around here. The chickens charged again, their bright eyes fixed on him. Jin Sung's smirk widened. Moments later, the birds suddenly vanished from sight, only to crash into a pit trap he'd prepared earlier. You've all been caught, Jin Sung said, his grin visible even under the paper bag. Now, turn into my experience points. A moment later, the pit was filled with still bodies. Feathers scattered everywhere as notifications flashed before his eyes. Level ups, experience gained, monsters defeated. Jin Sung clenched his fists, feeling a surge of energy. Yes, he shouted. If I keep this up, I'll hit level 10 in no time. But then, something strange happened. A faint message appeared. Experience gained due to another player's participation. What? Jin Sung looked around in confusion. Not far away, in another part of the forest, other players were hunting the same kind of chickens. They laughed as they easily slaughtered them. This is amazing, one shouted. Yeah, this quest is too easy, another replied. They were looting the birds without realizing someone else had weakened them. One even pointed at a dead chicken with a dart still in it. Whoever did this, thanks for the free food. Just then, Jin Sung stepped out of the trees behind them. Hey, he said quietly. Enjoying that? One of the players turned around trying to laugh it off. But before he could finish speaking, Jin Sung's fist connected with his jaw. The player collapsed instantly, unconscious. His friends froze in shock. What the? One shouted, kneeling beside him. Jin Sung glared at them. Did you eat what was mine? They looked confused. What are you talking about? You have no proof. Jin Sung pointed at the chickens on the ground, all with his darts still stuck in them. His voice grew low and dangerous. You dare lie? When the evidence is right in front of you? Smoke seemed to rise from him as his anger boiled. Do you really want to die? The players drew their weapons nervously, but one was too scared to move. This is your last chance, Jin Sung warned. Spit out what you stole, and leave. One player tried to attack, slashing at Jin Sung, but Jin Sung was faster. He swung his blowpipe like a club, cracking it against the man's head. The others screamed, drawing their weapons. Kill him, someone shouted. Jin Sung's expression twisted. I warned you. He charged into them, striking fast, his movements sharp and wild. One by one, the players fell. In seconds, only one remained standing, trembling and holding his sword. I told you to spit it out, Jin Sung roared, swinging again. When the fight ended, the clearing was silent except for the moans of the wounded. A cold notification blinked before their eyes. Your party member has died. The survivors froze in terror. One of them whispered shakily, He's a chaotic user. The words sent a wave of panic through the group. Chaotic users were killers, players who hunted others for loot and experience. Run, someone shouted, but it was too late. Jin Sung raised his blowpipe, firing twice. Both darts struck their targets cleanly. The men collapsed, poisoned. Jin Sung stepped closer, scanning the area. Where's the last one? He muttered. One survivor lay hidden in the grass, hands over his mouth, trembling. He tried to call up the game menu to escape, but a cruel message appeared. You cannot log out during combat. 300 seconds remaining. Damn it, he whispered, shaking. Why did it have to be a chaotic user? A shadow fell over him. He looked up and saw Jinsung standing above him. Hello, Jinsung said softly. The terrified player whimpered as Jinsung raised the blowpipe. His scream echoed through the forest. When it was over, the ground was littered with bodies and feathers. Jinsung calmly checked the loot floating before him. Dozens of feathers, potions, and equipment. Better results than I expected, he said, still wearing the bag. Another series of messages appeared. You have reached level 10. New skills unlocked. Control the dead, blood impulse, corrupted elixir, voodoo doll. Jinsung grinned. Finally, I can use my level 10 skills. But then a red warning flashed. You have committed PK. Alignment decreased. Current alignment -9. He exhaled and chuckled. Guess I already hit rock bottom. At least there's no further to fall. A window appeared listing his title, Atrocity. Its effects increased loot, gold, and experience from player kills by 500%. Jinsung laughed. Isn't this basically cheating? He walked away from the clearing, whistling to himself. Well, I'll level up even faster now. Later, he stopped by a convenience store. The clerk turned and blinked. Oh, it's you. Why are you buying so much instant food? Jinsung smiled under the bag. Can't help it, I'm busy. The clerk sighed. You'll make yourself sick. Then you can treat me, Jinsung said lightly. As the clerk rang up the items, Jinsung noticed a news broadcast on the tablet. The youngest pro gamer, Jang Hyunmin, known as the Tempest of Time and Space, has announced his retirement. He's moving to the VR game AC. Jinsung stared at the screen. Jang Hyunmin? The clerk laughed. You don't know him? He's a legend. Rich, handsome, unbeatable. Everyone knows that guy. Jinsung just smiled faintly and didn't reply. Days later, deep in the forest near Dunan village, Jinsung continued to hunt. Chickens, wolves, anything that moved, all fell to his darts. Level 15 already, he murmured. Still not enough. I need to get stronger. He opened his quest log. His next mission glowed in front of him. Epic quest. The Predator of Whispering Island. Defeat the mutated wild boar and bring back its hide. This is the last quest here, he thought. Once I finish, I can finally move on with Elmore's recommendation. But there was one problem. Wild boars often migrated, and finding them wasn't easy. If I don't find its den soon, I'll have to wait another hour for it to respawn. Then he froze. His eyes gleamed. Found you. A massive boar stood between a tree and a rock, calmly munching on mushrooms. A faint window showed its level, 30, an elite monster. Jinsung crouched low. Level 30 and elite type. One wrong move, and I'm dead? He remembered what he'd learned, normal, elite, named, and champion monsters. Elites had special traits that made them far deadlier than the rest. He activated one of his new skills, Corrupted Elixir, and leapt from the shadows. The bottle shattered against the boar's head, spilling a yellow mist. The creature roared in pain as its skin began to smoke. Good, Jinsung muttered. No immunity, that means it's working. The boar charged. Jinsung dodged, barely avoiding its tusks. The beast's eyes glowed with rage. So typical of dumb monsters, Jinsung thought, breathing hard. Suddenly, a glowing blue wall appeared in front of him. He skidded to a stop. What the? A barrier? The boar's body shimmered with energy. Don't tell me. Its a special trait is wall formation. The creature charged again, energy swirling around it. Jinsung raised his hands instinctively. I can't dodge this! A blinding white flash erupted across the forest. When the light faded, the air trembled with dark energy. The paper bag fluttered to the ground. Where Jinsung had stood, a new figure slowly straightened. Human, yet wreathed in red and black power. His eyes glowed with madness. The wild boar squealed in terror as the monster-like man stepped forward. Jinsung had changed. A notification appears before Jinsung. Zombification Level 1. Attribute. Corpse. The description reads, when your HP reaches 0, you will transform into an undead for 600 seconds. Your HP will not drop below 1 during this time. While undead, you emit a plague aura. Any opponent within 3 meters will be poisoned and start bleeding. While this skill is active, no other skills can be used. Cooldown. 180 seconds. Streams of red and black light rise from the corners of Jinsung's mouth as pain floods through his body. That hurts, he groans through clenched teeth. The wild boar, seeing his horrifying transformation, trembles in fear and lets out a terrified squeal. Jin-sung glares at the creature, his face twisted with rage. "You dirty pig! You almost killed me," he growls. His voice echoes through the green meadows of the mountain as he charges forward. "You're a corpse!" he roars, striking the beast again and again like a true monster. Notifications flash rapidly. The wild boar is bleeding. The wild boar is poisoned. Gray smoke rises from the beast's body as Jin-sung fights without mercy. Another notification appears. 10 seconds remaining until zombification ends. A wicked grin forms on his face. 10 seconds is plenty, he thinks. Energy of mixed red and black colors surges around his fist as he activates the plague aura again. "I'll turn you into a bloody pulp," he growls, slamming his glowing fist down on the boar's head. The countdown continues. 10 seconds. 9. 8. The red mark on the boar's forehead glows brighter, surrounded by a spreading green taint. 7 seconds. 6. 5. Blood bursts from the boar's skull as Jin-sung keeps pounding it. 4. 3. 2. Then come the final notifications. You have defeated the wild boar. You gained EXP. Level up. You have reached level 16. Jin-sung stands over the fallen beast, breathing heavily, his fist still raised. 1 second. 0 seconds. The red-black aura around him fades, and he collapses to the ground as another notification appears. Zombification has ended. A magic circle glows faintly above his shoulder as he sits up, exhausted. "I won," he mutters with a tired smile. Then, one after another, more messages appear. You obtained wild boar's fangs. You obtained wild boar's hide. You obtained wild boar's essence. You obtained 30,000 gold. You obtained the title, the one who killed the wild boar alone. Quest cleared. Predator of the Whispering Island. Jin-sung looks at the endless stream of rewards, smiling weakly. "Nice. I got to hog all the rewards," he thinks proudly. A new window appears showing the title's details. The one who defeated the boar alone. Strength plus 3%, movement speed plus 3%, resistance plus 1%. He leans forward, studying the glowing blue window. A solo clear title, huh? Let's see what I got from this. He scrolls through the loot, thinking aloud. I can give the hide to Elmore, and as for the fangs and essence. Before he can finish, a deep, amused voice interrupts him. "Well, what a peculiar bastard," someone says. Jin-sung quickly turns, startled. An old man with a massive, muscular frame is standing nearby, watching him with keen eyes. The man tilts his head, muttering, "How peculiar. How very peculiar indeed." Jin-sung clenches his fist and steps back. "Who the hell are you?" he demands. A notification pops up. Unknown? Old man. Species. Human. Age. Unknown. Level. Unknown. Warning. This old man is ill-tempered. Avoid provoking him or you may die. Jin-sung stares, shocked. I can't read his stats, he thinks. You, the old man says suddenly. How can you move like a dead man? Excuse me? Jin-sung replies, confused. The old man steps closer and places a hand on his forehead. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Jin-sung snaps, trying to pull away. A small white rune glows on his forehead. The old man nods. Judging from the rune, you really are another otherworld adventurer. Jin-sung pushes the hand away, grimacing. Back off, old man. You stink. But the stranger only strokes his chin thoughtfully. I see. What do you see? Jin-sung asks, annoyed. You borrowed the power of darkness, didn't you? The old man says calmly. Jin-sung freezes. He hadn't expected anyone to recognize that. The old man lifts his hand slightly, showing a ring that gleams faintly. You used the power of darkness to become undead, didn't you? Not bad? That means you won't die easily. An eerie light flickers in his eyes, though his grin never fades. But tell me, why does an otherworld adventurer carry a level of darkness equal to the Demon King himself? How did you know? Jin-sung asks cautiously. I can see it clearly, the old man says with a strange laugh. Suddenly, new notifications appear. New information updated. NPC identified. Name, Karen, Priest of the Apocalypse. Representative of the Forgotten God Shaka, Chief of the Black Cult. Age, unknown. Level, unknown. Warning, ill-tempered. Avoid provoking him. Jin-sung frowns. Priest of the Apocalypse, the Black Cult. What the hell is that? Some kind of fake religion? Karen's expression instantly darkens. What did you just say? He growls. His rage surges and streams of black energy rise around him. I, Karen, am the seventh chief priest of the god Shaka, he declares. I will spread the gospel of the apocalypse across this land and destroy the despicable queen of the gods. Wait, calm down, Jinsung shouts, raising his hands, but Karen ignores him completely. You dare mock the faith of Shaka? I'll teach you a lesson. He lunges forward with terrifying speed, his fist slamming toward Jinsung's head. Jinsung barely dodges. What's your problem, old man? The next blow tears through the air and explodes against the ground, leaving a smoking crater. What the hell is that destructive power? Jinsung gasps. Karen grins. Ha! You managed to dodge that? Impressive. Jinsung glares at him. Of course I dodged. Did you expect me to just die? The old man laughs maniacally. Let's see how long you can keep dodging, boy. Jinsung steadies himself, thinking fast. He's insane. Seriously insane. A flurry of notifications appears. NPC Karen, Priest of the Apocalypse, has displayed hostility. Main quest activated. Karen's trial. Objective: survive the Priest of the Apocalypse. Reward: unknown. Warning: this quest cannot be abandoned. Jinsung's eyes widen. Mainstream quest. He knows what that means. Only a few chosen players receive main quests, and they shape the world's future. Every decision in these missions can change the fate of the game itself. He remembers his past life as the battle god. Back then, his main quest had been to defeat Abraxas, the Demon King. He remembers leading his team, the Six Masters, into the worst dungeon in existence, the Abyss, where countless demons awaited. If he hadn't cleared that quest, the entire middle world would have been destroyed. Jinsung clenches his jaw. If this really is another main quest, I have no choice. I have to clear it. Karen roars, charging straight at him. Why are you just standing there, boy? Jinsung dodges desperately, thinking fast. This guy's crazy. The old priest leaps high into the air, fist glowing with divine power. Let's see how you handle this. Jinsung folds his hands before his face, whispering an incantation only he understands. And the battle for survival truly begins. Streams of red energy flared around Jinsung as he pushed aside thought and calculation. A message blinked in his mind. Bloody impulse used. He told himself not to think. He would act on raw instinct and hit with everything he had. His muscles swelled. He let his body move on its own. Karen screamed and raised his fist. You bastard! How long will you keep running? He roared and drove a savage blow into Jinsung's jaw. The force hammered through him. For a moment, the young man couldn't steady his feet. Black and red veins of power pulsed across his skin. Jinsung kept moving anyway. He had one goal: survive. He dodged, staggered, and put distance between himself and the old priest. Karen's attacks were brutal and strange. A kick that would have broken most bones. A punch that left craters in the earth. Jinsung watched the old man closely, trying to read the positions of his hands. Then, Karen gathered a bright, humming yellow sphere between his palms. It glowed like a small sun. Die! Karen screamed and unleashed it. The blast hit Jinsung full force. He howled. The ground exploded beneath him, and jets of red and gray energy burst from his body. He sank to his knees in the smoking crater. A timer counted down. 2 seconds. 1, 0. The zombification that had once saved him finally faded. Karen leaned closer, studying him with hungry interest. Good body you have, he said, amused. Jinsung spat blood and smiled weakly. Yours isn't bad either, he managed. Both of them were breathing hard when new text blinked at Jinsung. Main quest. Karen's trial cleared. The words felt almost unreal. Karen's face split into a crooked grin. Well then, the old man said with ironic politeness, you still have teeth. You fought well. Jinsung coughed, smoke curling from him, but relief warmed him. He had survived. He had thought he was going to die. Karen reached out a hand and helped him to his feet. He peered at Jinsung's chest. That power you used, the darkness. You recognized it, didn't you? Karen asked. Jinsung frowned. The old priest was right. Someone could sense the shadow inside him. Karen's eyes glittered. He muttered the name of the forgotten god as if it tasted of iron. Shaka. Karen explained, almost proudly, that he served Lord Shaka, the seventh god, the god of apocalypse and darkness. He called Shaka greater than the light goddess Arya and the other great deities. Jinsung tried to picture those names. Arya, Nisa, Tenril, Oret, the familiar pantheon. But Karen spoke as if Shaka's legacy was the deepest secret. The old man's voice turned serious. Do you want real strength? He asked suddenly. Jin-sung blinked, caught off guard. You should become my disciple, Karen said, palm out. Jin-sung stared. What? No? He turned away, ready to leave. Karen's patience snapped. He smacked Jin-sung on the head like a child and thrust a book into his hands. A book bound in black, glowing faintly. Apocalypse Invocation. The Book of the Black Covenant. A notice said as the book brightened. Another system message popped up. Mainstream encounter with the seventh god activated. Karen laughed loudly. This is a divine object. It's the tool to meet Lord Shaka, he declared. Open it? Jin-sung hesitated. He didn't trust the old man, but curiosity pried at him. He cracked the cover with a careless tug. It's only a book, he thought. And at once, Karen warned him not to move. Before he could react, Karen brought a wooden rod down and struck Jin-sung's head. A bright flash exploded, and blackness swallowed him. He woke in a dark, low cave to the sound of something small dancing and chirping. For a disorienting second, he thought he'd been sent to the underworld. He lurched up, clutching his head. A small boy stood before him, holding a staff topped with a skull. The child peered at Jin-sung, wide-eyed, then grinned. You smell good, the boy said, almost delighted. Jin-sung blinked. The boy's voice was oddly bright in the stale cave air. Then the child shouted happily and called a flock of tiny chickens, dozens of them, which came running at them, clucking like a crowd of playmates. The boy introduced them as my friends. He insisted on making friends with Jin-sung. Before Jin-sung understood why, he found himself oddly lightheaded and strangely close to the child. The boy's small face glowed with genuine joy when Jin-sung accepted the friendship. The feeling washed over Jin-sung like warm but dizzying tiredness. Suddenly, the scene snapped away. Jin-sung woke again, this time on the cave floor with Karen looming overhead, irritated and amused at once. You punk, Karen spat as Jin-sung lunged at him in fury. Jin-sung grabbed the old man by the collar. You nearly killed me, he hissed. Karen shoved him off easily and scolded him like a bothersome pupil. But another system alert blinked through Jin-sung's vision. Status: critical. Unable to move until recovered. He staggered and slumped. His body wouldn't obey. Karen circled him calmly and asked, with a scholar's patience, what had happened when Jin-sung had met Shaka. Jin-sung mumbled the memory of the little boy and the strange friendliness. Karen listened and then, with a slow smile, declared that friendship was the sign, a choice by Shaka himself. To Karen, it meant something monumental. Shaka had decided Jin-sung might become his successor. Karen's grin turned grand and a little mad. He told Jin-sung the long story of Shaka and the seven gods. Long ago, Shaka's power had grown so terrible that the other five gods, joined by area, bound and defeated him. Shaka went into slumber and became the forgotten seventh god. With him gone, balance shattered. The dead no longer stayed dead, demons multiplied, and evil spread. For centuries, Karen had wandered, waiting and searching for someone strong enough to help Shaka rise again and to challenge Arya and the other gods. He had chosen a path of revenge and reclamation. Now he offered Jin-sung the purpose. Become his disciple, become the sword of Lord Shaka, and help topple the ruling gods. A new system prompt blinked. Karen's wish has been activated. Do you accept? Jin-sung saw the words and felt their weight. The idea of harnessing this power to get revenge stirred something hard and bitter in him. The memory of betrayal, of a past death at the hands of Jang Hyunmin. If he joined Karen, he might gain the strength to destroy Jang Hyunmin. And perhaps even more. The choice wasn't clean, but it was simple in its pull. He read the prompt, looked at Karen's eager, fanatical face, and made a quiet, dangerous decision. If this path would give him revenge, if it would bring back the chance to right the wrongs done to him, then he would walk it. Jin-sung tapped the option. The blue window vanished, and something ancient and cold reached for him. The beginning of a new bargain, the first step toward reviving a forgotten god. After a long silence, the young man made up his mind. Defeating the six gods is an important quest, he told himself. It's not a bad decision. He knelt down before the old man and bowed deeply. Please accept my bow of respect, master, he said sincerely. Karen laughed warmly. Yes, you are definitely worthy of being my successor, he replied. As soon as he said that, strange messages appeared before the young man. He had officially formed a bond with Karen, priest of the apocalypse, and earned the new title, Agent of Revenge. A smile crept across his face. Once I finish training with this old man, I can finally defeat that bastard, he thought, filled with determination. But Karen suddenly stood up. I'm leaving now, he said casually. What? Wait, master, Jin-sung cried out in panic. Karen stopped, looking slightly annoyed. What is it? Don't you have anything to teach me? Maybe a new skill or something? Jin-sung asked angrily. The old man chuckled. What are you talking about? I already made you my successor and told you what to do. My job is done. He tossed an ornate black book toward Jin-sung. Ah, I almost forgot. If you need something, look it up in that book. A glowing blue circle appeared beneath Karen's feet. And try not to look for me again if you can, he warned. Wait, master, Jin-sung shouted, rushing forward, but the old man vanished into the light. All that remained was the book, lying open on the ground. The pages fluttered in the wind. A new message appeared before Jin-sung. Quest received? Karen's wish. He frowned, reading the impossible words. Resurrect the god of darkness, Shaka, and defeat the 6 gods and their families who ruled this land. The quest listed names: the god of light, the phoenix of fire, the knight of darkness, and others. His hands trembled. Do I seriously have to do this all by myself? He muttered. Frustrated, he kicked a stone and hurt his foot badly. Is this even possible to clear? He yelled. Then memories of his old comrades returned. The strongest heroes who had fought beside him before: Agnes the Crimson, Siren of Ice, Halo of the Mind, Cyrus of Steel, and Luke of the Boulder, warriors known as Disaster Class, the families of the most powerful gods. And above them all stood his greatest enemy, Jang Hyunmin, the Radiant King, once from the family of the God of Light. He was praised as the god of magic after obtaining the legendary artifact Infinity Circle. Jin-sung clenched his fist. Can I really defeat Jang Hyunmin? And all of them? He whispered. Then, his eyes hardened. No, I can't be afraid. He remembered his past life, the moment he was killed, the despair he felt, and the mysterious chance that brought him back. But now I've been given another opportunity, he thought. Raising his fist high, he shouted, I'll clear this damned quest. I'll end this cursed fate once and for all. As he made that vow, new messages appeared. The Book of the Black Covenant had awakened, granting him mysterious abilities. He could now return to villages, appraise, disassemble, synthesize, and create items. Jin-sung stared in shock at the book glowing before him. Is this an all-in-one item? This is insane. A sly smile appeared on his face. A scam item with so many abilities. Not bad. Let's test it out. He placed his finger on a picture of a wild boar inside the book. Disassemble, then synthesize, and finally, create. A bright yellow light filled the air. Magic circles appeared beneath his feet, swirling with energy. Then, with a flash, something dropped from above. A strange helmet made from a boar's skull. He examined it. Wild boar helmet, plus 100 HP, plus 50 magic power, plus 3 to all stats, plus 10 defense, and bonus damage against beasts. Not bad at all, he said, impressed. This will definitely help for now. He quickly did the math. The boar's head alone could sell for 500,000 gold. And in game currency, that was worth quite a bit, but he sighed. If I keep crafting without any money, I'll end up broke in no time. Deciding to move on, he packed the helmet and headed back to the village to see Elmore, the village chief. When he presented the boar's hide, the old man's eyes widened. You caught this by yourself? Yes, sir, Jin-sung answered, proudly wearing his new helmet. Elmore nodded in approval. You are not someone who should stay on this island. I'll write you a recommendation. He signed the paper and handed it to Jin-sung. Take this to the harbor on the east side. Show it to the guild branch head on the main continent. He'll help you from there. Jin-sung bowed deeply. Thank you, elder. Later, seagulls circled above a small port as Jin-sung sat on a bench, eating a bun and checking his status window. Name, Damien Level, 16. Class, Witch Doctor. Title, Agent of Revenge. Stats, Strength 10, Agility 10, Intelligence 31, HP 10, Luck 10. He sighed. Still level 16. I've got a long way to go. But when he looked at his title, his eyes widened. The Agent of Revenge gave him double attack and defense during PvP battles and complete resistance to status effects. That's insane, he muttered. It's basically telling me to kill other players. He clenched his fists. But I don't like killing people. As he sat deep in thought, loud noises echoed nearby. Turning his head, he saw a group of men harassing someone near the docks. One of them, clearly the leader, towered over his victim, smiling cruelly. I told you, just pay the toll. Why make this harder for both of us? Jin-sung narrowed his eyes. Killer mages, he muttered under his breath. The bandit leader raised his glowing hand, unleashing a bolt of blue energy at a young blonde man who tried to fight back. The man screamed as the magic hit him again and again, collapsing in pain. The crowd stood frozen in fear. The bandits laughed. Send our guest off properly, the leader said. Magic circles formed in their hands. But before they could act, something flashed before them. A blur of movement. And suddenly, one bandit's head flew into the air. The others froze in horror. Whoa, what was that? When they turned, they saw him. Jin-sung, standing tall in his skull helmet, his dagger gleaming under the sun. His eyes glowed with a chilling light. Pay up, he said coldly. The bandits trembled. Pay what? One stammered. The price of your lives. He raised his dagger, his voice low and steady. I'll give you 10 seconds. If you want to live, pay up. The group stared at him, terrified and confused. What is this guy talking about? He's crazy, one whispered. But Jin-sung didn't blink. His presence alone was enough to make even killers hesitate. And for the first time, the witch doctor had truly begun his path of revenge. Jin-sung raised his dagger and began counting down, his voice cold and steady. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. He held up 5 fingers. 4, 3, 2. The bandits watched, growing more nervous with each number. Their leader's men clenched their fists in anger. This bastard wants to die, one shouted. What are you waiting for? Just kill him, yelled the leader. The bandits charged. But as Jin-sung reached 1, and then 0, he vanished. For a moment, the enemies looked around in confusion. What? Where did he go? One shouted. And then a terrified voice cried, Above us! Everyone, dodge! Yellow projectiles rained down from above. The bandits screamed as poisonous shells burst around them. My eyes! Save me! Their leader could only stare in horror as his men fell one after another. When the dust settled, Jin-sung stood in the middle of countless corpses, calmly counting under his breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. A blowpipe gleamed in his hand, a flask of yellow liquid in the other. Blood impulse, poison dart, corrupted elixir, he muttered. A cruel smile crossed his lips. Thanks to my title as Agent of Revenge, my PvP damage is even higher. The surviving bandit leader glared at him. You bastard, he spat. Jin-sung smiled wickedly, letting the flask fall. Did this exceed your expectations? The scene cut to a nearby alley where a young blonde man slowly opened his eyes. A frightened girl knelt beside him. Brian, are you all right? She asked. Wendy, where are we? He mumbled. Memories of being attacked by mages flooded his mind. He clenched his fists. Those bastards, I'll kill them! Brian, calm down. You saw how strong they were, Wendy said. But Brian's eyes burned with rage. Wendy, you know when a streamer really dies, not when he loses his items or levels, but when he decides to quit. Wendy froze, shocked by his determination. So I'm going to crush those bastards, he said firmly. Before they could move, a blinding yellow flash erupted nearby. From the light emerged the corpses of the bandits Jin-sung had killed. White sparks flickered in the air, and through the smoke came laughter. Jin-sung's laughter. 3, 4, 5, 6, he counted, cutting down another foe. The bandit leader's face twisted in disbelief. How can a human fight like that? He shouted to his remaining mages. Hurry and cast your spells. Yes, sir, they replied, forming blue magic circles. The leader bared his teeth. I'll kill you myself, Jin-sung smiled faintly. Then I'll use bloody impulse again. The mages released a barrage of blue energy, but the hero was gone. Did we hit him? One mage asked nervously. Then came a scream as Jin-sung dropped down from above, surrounded by red and black energy. The effect is perfect, he laughed, firing darts through his blowpipe. Is he even human? One mage cried. How is he dodging everything? The leader folded his arms, glaring furiously. At this rate, we'll all die. Damn it! Endure for 3 minutes. Jin-sung noticed the leader preparing another spell. A massive blue magic circle formed before the man's hands. I'll skewer you with lightning, the bandit roared. From a distance, Brian and Wendy were watching everything unfold on a tablet screen. Oh my god, is this real? Brian gasped. That's insane. The chat comments scrolled across the screen. Unbelievable, he's a monster. Brian grinned wildly. Tank boy, you're insane, he shouted at the screen. Brian, stop admiring him. This isn't the time, Wendy snapped. But Brian ignored her. Wendy, There are 236,000 viewers watching. I'm going after that guy, he said with a grin. Meanwhile, the bandit leader launched his lightning spell. Blue energy surged under Jin Sung's feet. A massive explosion lit up the port. The leader, breathing heavily, watched as the smoke cleared. Jin Sung lay motionless on the ground. I did it, he shouted with trembling hands. His comrades cheered. We knew you could do it, Mandu. He laughed proudly. See, you just needed me. But then came a voice, calm and chilling. That hurt a little. Mandu froze. Jin Sung stood up, sparks still dancing across his armor, holding his dagger. What do you mean? Impossible, Mandu whispered in terror. Jin Sung stepped closer, eyes burning red beneath his helmet. You shouldn't have messed with me, he said softly. Panicking, Mandu tried to cast a spell, but his hands shook too much. Memorize, he stammered. Jin Sung's dagger flashed. In a blink, the mage leader was cut down, falling beside his men. You shouldn't have played around, Jin Sung muttered. He licked the blood from his blade. I return kindness 100-fold, and revenge 1,000-fold. That's my creed. Mandu's eyes rolled back in terror as Jin Sung poured a yellow potion over his head. All right, Jin Sung said mockingly. I'll save you. Then his dagger came down. The sound of the final strike echoed across the port. Brian stared at the screen, frozen. Wendy covered her face. I can't watch this. That's insane, she cried. Brian whispered, I wanted to kill him myself, but this is beyond anything I imagined. When the battle ended, notifications flooded Jin Sung's screen. You have committed an act of PK. Alignment minus 999. You have obtained 184 toothless daggers, 29 beginner's shirts, 113 coarse leather leggings, 98 old wooden staffs. Jin Sung stretched his arms and looked around. So, why pick a fight you couldn't win? He said coldly. Another message appeared. Your alignment cannot fall any lower. You have received 3,429,325 gold. Jin Sung's eyes widened. 3.4 million gold? That's $3,000 or $4,000 in real money. He burst out laughing. This is amazing. He quickly opened the trading system and typed, selling 3 million gold fast. Cheap and easy deal. Replies came instantly. I'll buy it. Message me. Another said, I can pay tomorrow. Please hold it. Jin Sung chuckled. Which one should I pick? He selected one offer and confirmed. Trade complete. Your rank has changed from normal to VIP. Total sale, 35,611,101 gold. He raised his hand and grinned. As expected of Game Bank, lightning fast. Laughing, he realized something. So this is my future, he said proudly. The witch doctor stood beneath the sunlight, victorious and free. Meanwhile, across the world in Cambridge, Massachusetts, a man in a scarf walked down the street. In a tall glass office, Alan Jacobs, CEO of the top streaming company sipped his coffee. Good coffee today, he said. His secretary knocked. President, Mr. William Ballore from Switch is here. Send him in, Alan replied. William entered with a tablet. Good to see you again, Alan, he said with a smile. Alan nodded. You look pleased today, William. William grinned. I have news that will surprise you. Do you know what AC is? Alan blinked. That new game? Yeah, it's trending. A lot of our streamers are into it. William handed him the tablet. Take a look, this week's hottest clip. Alan watched the video. His expression turned serious. Who is this player? William smiled. A new rising star. Don't you think he'd make a great business partner? The camera cut to a familiar street. Jin Sung, still in his witch doctor outfit, talking on the phone. Yeah, Mom, I sent money to your account, he said cheerfully. I got a bonus. His mother scolded him gently. You shouldn't spend too much, dear. I know, I'll visit soon, he said before hanging up. He smiled to himself. I sent what I needed to Mom. Now, should I start investing? In front of him appeared a glowing blue window full of market charts and currencies. After AC and Evertail appeared, cryptocurrency exploded over the next 10 years. And thus Jin Sung, the FFF-Class witch doctor, began to walk a path that would soon shake both the game world and the real one. After earning a fortune from his latest quest, Jin Sung decided to ride the current investment boom to build his future. Confident, he began working through the system interface. All right, he muttered. Let's start with 3 million won. He selected one of the cryptocurrency futures options and hit buy. Almost immediately, warning messages started flashing in front of him, one after another. Warning: the selected cryptocurrency has dropped to its lowest price. Customer loss rate: 8.42%, 12.98%, 27.63%. Then the worst appeared. Due to severe losses, your funds have been forcibly liquidated. Jin-sung froze, his face twisted in disbelief. My $3 million gone in just 3 seconds? He shouted. Panic and rage filled his eyes as he opened the fluctuation chart again. The numbers danced upward, Bitcoin futures rising sharply, 1%, 2.9%, 7.6%. He could only stare, his jaw tight. What the hell? He muttered. Someone must have interfered. He clenched his fists in anger. Damn it! There's only one thing left for me now. And with that, he turned his focus back to the world of AC. Jinsung City, Julan Province, China. Inside a small startup factory, chaos erupted. A young employee burst through the door yelling, "Chief, something terrible's happened." A man sitting inside looked up, cigarette between his lips. What's so bad you had to break the door again? Didn't I tell you not to do that? This was Minchin, the CEO of Jinsung's startup business. He frowned impatiently. Well, what is it? The assistant held up his tablet, trembling. It's the game bank, sir. 3 million gold just appeared. Minchin blinked, stunned. 3 million gold? Are you joking? That's impossible. It's real, the assistant insisted, handing over the tablet. Minchin's eyes widened in horror at the sight. That can't be. It's been only 2 weeks since I joined AC. How can someone generate that much? He slammed the table in frustration. That amount exceeds even our company's total production. A single player shouldn't be able to make that much gold. He pressed his palms against his forehead, voice shaking. If players like him keep appearing, the entire market will crash. The gold value will plummet. And I'll go bankrupt before I can repay our investors. Rage surged through him. He grabbed the tablet and smashed it against his assistant's head. Why are you telling me this now? Do you want me ruined? The assistant tried to explain, but Minchin cut him off with a shout. Find out who that bastard is. Now! The terrified man ran out of the office as Minchin stood there, trembling with fury. Out at sea, a small sailboat glided over calm waves. We're setting sail now, a sailor called out. Jin-sung, dressed in his witch doctor's outfit, rested on the deck. He thought back to the island he had just left. That place was full of trouble, he murmured. But thanks to that Park Mandu guy, I got plenty of materials and items. He opened his system menu and began disassembling the items he'd looted. Item disassembly successful. You've acquired 8 low-grade iron. Nice, Jin-sung grinned. With this much, I can make more money than players still stuck back there. More notifications appeared. You've gained experience points. You've reached level 20. He nodded to himself. That atrocity bonus really boosted me fast. Opening his skill menu, he reviewed his abilities. Bloody Impulse, level 5, boosts attack and speed for 100 seconds but drains stamina. Corrupted Elixir, level 3, deals high poison damage and lowers the target's defense. Control the Dead, level 1, summon weak monsters like chickens. Voodoo Doll, level 1, curse an enemy by stabbing a doll. These are all kind of useless, he sighed. Controlling the Dead only summons chickens, and I need a doll to even use the curse skill. Still, he stood up with renewed determination. I'll make use of them someday. A new notification appeared. Information about a new location has been updated. Jin-sung smiled. Finally. He looked up to see a bustling harbor filled with sailboats and travelers. Current location: Terra Kingdom's dock. So this is the main continent, he said quietly, stepping onto the stone pier. The city of Terra was alive with noise and energy. Announcements echoed from every direction. Players recruiting for guilds, parties forming for raids, merchants advertising deals. Jin-sung walked through the crowd, smiling faintly. It's just like before, he thought. Even with all these people, no one can sense what I really am. He spotted a group shouting loudly for recruits. We're forming a dungeon raid. Healers get priority, free meals and lodging. Same as always, he murmured. Guilds everywhere. Then his eyes caught a familiar sign. Ah, there it is. He approached the Adventurers Guild, a large stone building bustling with activity. Inside, guild workers handled clients and paperwork. A bearded man stood near the counter, giving instructions. Maria, bring me all the adventurer applications from today. Of course, a cheerful girl replied. Jin-sung stepped forward. Excuse me, Hatson. The man turned, surprised. Oh, you know my name? I'd like to get a license, Jin-sung said confidently. Hatson studied him with interest. You've got sharp eyes for a new adventurer, he said. Well, I should at least know the basics if I plan to be a mercenary, Jin-sung replied. The guild master chuckled. True enough, not bad. He took out a pen and gestured toward the papers. You'll need to pass a simple test for your license. Behind this lobby is an arena with 10 stages. Your tier depends on how many you clear. So if I want a higher grade, I should come back more prepared, right? Jin-sung asked. Hatson nodded. Exactly. Most people take a few days to get ready. But Jin-sung grinned and raised his fist. No need. I'll take it right now. Hatson blinked in surprise. Are you sure? You won't have much time to prepare. A test only shows your real skills, Jin-sung said firmly. The guildmaster smiled. That's quite the confidence. All right then, follow me. They entered the testing grounds, a massive arena filled with participants. Maria's voice echoed through a megaphone. Adventurers from 3001 to 4000, please get ready for the exam. Hatson patted Jin-sung's shoulder. Good luck, kid. Give it your best. Thank you, Jin-sung replied with a nod. A giant gate rose before them, glowing with magic. A wind burst through the opening. A summoning gate, Jin-sung realized. The masterpiece built by Master Eris of the Monster Tower. Maria smiled as she explained. Beyond that door, you'll face summoned monsters. There are 10 stages total. If you can't go on, just shout I forfeit. Are they real monsters? Someone asked nervously. They're illusions, Maria said with a grin. But don't expect them to be any easier. Jin-sung rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Makes sense. Most guild work involves monster hunts. This test is practical. All right then, Maria announced. Let's begin. The bars behind them slammed shut. The test had begun. Screams erupted as monsters appeared, tearing through the unprepared. Jin-sung tensed. It started, he muttered. The air filled with shouts of panic. Kill them! Don't let them through! Maria, still smiling, spoke calmly through her megaphone. No need to be afraid. It's just illusion magic. Then she turned toward the next group. Participants 4001 to 5000. Please stand by for your exam. The candidates stood frozen, their eyes wide with horror as realization dawned. What? That time already? One of them shouted. Jin-sung, smiling faintly, rolled his shoulders and cracked his knuckles. Guess it's time for some action, he muttered to himself. Nearby, some of the examinees panicked. You're trying to kill us, aren't you? This isn't a real test, right? They yelled toward Maria, the cheerful woman overseeing the exam. Maria calmly raised her megaphone. Please don't misunderstand, she said, her voice echoing through the arena. This is the Summon Gate License exam. After clearing the monsters, you advance to the next stage. If you don't like the method, you may leave now, but you'll lose your adventurer license. The crowd went silent, shocked by her bluntness. Well, one guy said nervously, it's fine. It's just a game. Even if we die, we'll respawn in 60 hours. Yeah, another agreed. Let's just get this over with. Maria smiled brightly. Then let's begin the next test. The massive gate rumbled open, and she gestured for them to enter. Start, she announced, and the doors slammed shut behind them. A system message echoed in the air. Welcome to the Summon Gate. There are 10 stages in the Adventurer's License exam. Clear all monsters to open the next gate. Solo players who fail to defeat monsters will be eliminated. Jin-sung rubbed his chin thoughtfully. So it's a stage-based test, he thought. The timer appeared before everyone. Next test begins in 9 minutes 59 seconds. He glanced around. There were 10 people in his group, all unfamiliar faces. The announcement's over, huh? He murmured. He thought quietly for a moment. If this exam is like others, there's usually a hidden rule, maybe a battle royale between participants. Did they leave that part out on purpose? The other examinees began chatting. Are we clear on what to do? Asked a player named Lua Bang Bang. I think so, replied OMJ, nervously clutching her staff. Buy me some chicken after this. I'm scared, Lua joked weakly. Her husband, Amyu's husband, laughed. Don't worry, I'll make sure we leave quickly. A man with a sword on his back approached them. Hello, nice to meet you, he said politely. His nickname read, Gentle-Mannered Guy. When you cross paths with someone, it's fate, he smiled. Let's team up. If we reach the last stage together, we can start with a silver tier license. Jin Sung eyed him skeptically. A full iron armor set. Seems like this guy's a heavy spender, he thought. Gentle-mannered the guy introduced his group, veterans from the open beta. They were chatty and confident, joking among themselves. We'll clear this together, one of them said, raising his staff. With Gentle Nim here, we can rely on him, another added. His real weapon is that smooth tongue, Jin Sung thought dryly. Gentle-mannered guy noticed someone standing apart, a silent girl in a translucent mask. He approached with a friendly grin. Hey, nice to meet you. But the girl cut him off coldly. Shut up and get lost. I'm not joining a party with you idiots. He blinked in disbelief. That's a bit harsh, don't you think? The girl turned away. I said, get lost. A sharp beep interrupted them. Time remaining. 0 minutes. The test will begin. The sound of a horn filled the arena, and monsters suddenly appeared, mostly goblins. Gentle-mannered guy drew his sword. Everyone, get ready. Let's fight together and get a high-tier license. The group shouted in response, forming up. He grinned. So this is it? The Adventurers Guild standards aren't that high. Then, with a blur of motion, a goblin was sent flying, dead before anyone realized what happened. What the? Gentle-mannered guy turned just in time to see Jin Sung slamming another goblin into the ground. What are you doing? He yelled. Jin Sung ignored him, striking again and again. System messages flashed before his eyes. You have defeated 1 illusionary goblin. You have defeated 2 illusionary goblins. 10 goblins killed. First stage cleared. Breathing calmly, Jin Sung lifted his helmet. Done already, he muttered. Behind him, gentle-mannered guy was fuming. Damn it! He stole all the points. Hey, you bastard, he shouted. Who clears everything while people are talking? You trying to die? Jin Sung lazily cleaned his ear. The test's goal is to kill monsters, isn't it? He replied flatly. Surviving till the end is what matters. Furious, gentle-mannered guy charged with his sword. I'll kill you. Jin Sung smashed a vial against the man's face. The green liquid splashed, and he screamed, clutching his eyes. Jin Sung vanished into the shadows. Where are you? The man screamed wildly, swinging blindly. Not bad, Jin Sung thought. He's not panicking. He's tracking me by sound. Gentle-mannered guy pointed in his direction. You bastard, fight me! His teammates began casting spells. Cure, Hawkeye, Fireball. Nice, my vision's clearing, the man shouted. Now you're dead. His sword glowed as he unleashed a powerful strike, but Jin Sung was no longer there. I'm over here, came a calm voice from behind. A kick slammed into his back, sending him sprawling. Jin Sung grabbed Amju's wife, pulling her close as a shield. Try shooting now. If you kill her, you all die, he yelled. Her husband shouted in panic. Let her go. Vile bastard, the priest shouted. Shoot, gentle-mannered guy screamed. Attack. No, don't shoot, Amju's husband yelled, grabbing the leader's arm. Gentle-mannered guy shoved him aside. Do I look weak to you? The group hesitated, torn between orders and fear. Then, in a blur, gentle-mannered guy slashed the husband down. His wife screamed in horror as her husband fell. The crazed man raised his sword again. Kill them all. Jin Sung's expression didn't waver. In fact, he smiled faintly. You're even dumber than I thought, he said, tossing the hostage aside. People who act tough always fall apart when tested, he thought. Once they gain recognition, they lose their edge. Gentle-mannered guy roared and charged again. Jin Sung's kick hit his shoulder. Bone cracked. The man staggered back, gasping. Spells rained down. Double shot. Energy bolt. But Jin Sung weaved through them. He countered with his dagger, slicing through his opponent's guard, then landed another brutal kick. Gentle-mannered guy was sent flying. And then, an arrow pierced his back. He hit the ground, lifeless. You're annoying, Jin Sung said coldly, so I'll end it in one blow. He slammed his fist into the man's head, finishing it. Notifications flashed. Gentle-mannered guy has left. Amju's husband has left. Roggood has left. Please. Buy me chicken has left. Everyone was gone. Jin Sung frowned. Strange. They all disconnected? A weak sound caught his attention. He turned. A girl with a spear through her chest was crawling toward him. Save me, please, she gasped, coughing blood. He stared in disbelief. What the hell? Another notification. Lua Bang Babang has left. Then, from the shadows, a girl appeared holding a glowing purple knife. Her nickname read Juma. So, she said with a smirk, are you the only one left now? Seems like it, Jin-sung replied calmly. A system tag appeared over her weapon. Sashimi knife +9, rare. Attack speed, very fast. Bonus attack, +200. Critical damage +50%, normal. +100%, sneak. A sashimi knife +9, Jin-sung thought, eyes narrowing. That's insane. You're good, Juma said, circling him. For someone without gear, you must be hiding something. Funny, Jin-sung replied. You're the one overgeared. He picked up a sword from the ground. She might be trouble, he thought. I should use this just in case. Juma smiled mockingly. You don't look like a knight. Think you can even use that? You talk too much, Jin-sung said calmly, raising the blade. Just like that idiot before you. Her eyes narrowed. What did you say? She hissed, lifting her glowing knife. Assassins are deadly in one-on-one fights, Jin-sung thought, steadying himself. Her synergy with that weapon must be insane. But let's see what she's got. He raised his sword. We don't have much time, he said quietly. Come at me. You bastard, Juma growled, stepping forward. I'll make you regret that. The girl rushed toward the hero with fierce determination. A bright flash burst across the field, and a purple vortex appeared in front of him. Gritting her teeth in pain, she activated her skills, Kanoi's skill and Tiger's mirror, and slashed with her knife. The hero blocked the strike just in time. As their blades crossed, he studied her carefully. She's no joke, he thought. If I didn't have my titles or gear, I'd already be dead. Out loud, he said calmly, You've got a good fighting spirit, but your arms are too weak. Juma's hands trembled with tension. He blocked one of my strongest skills, she thought in disbelief. What the hell are you? She demanded. The hero only smiled, his blade pushing hers back. You want to know who I am? He asked. Juma roared and charged again, unleashing two more skills, Kanoi's skill and misstep. An energy blast struck the ground in front of the hero, kicking up thick purple smoke. Jin-sung's eyes narrowed. A stealth skill. So that's how she eliminated the others, he thought, scanning the area. Now you can only look around. Juma's mocking voice echoed through the dust. What a sight. It suits you so well. The hero raised his sword and focused. Her stealth window isn't perfect. It doesn't stop detection completely, he thought. Here she comes. Top right, 45 degrees. He moved instantly, dodging every strike that came his way, one after another. Nice, he thought, preparing to counterattack. Juma, frustrated, screamed, You rat-like bastard! How long do you think you can keep dodging? But before she could finish, a sharp blow landed in her stomach. She gasped as green liquid splashed from the hero's hand and shards of glass clinked to the ground. Horror filled her eyes as she staggered back. What? What is this? She gasped. Jin-sung didn't hesitate. He stepped forward and drove his fist into her, sending her flying. It's a skill, obviously, he said with a cold grin. Juma sat up, clutching her chest as streams of green light rose from her body. What? What did you do to me, you pervert? She shrieked. Seems like you still don't get it, the hero said, walking toward her. What do you mean? She screamed. If you keep shouting, I'll send you off cruelly, he warned. But if you surrender everything you have, I'll make it painless. He lowered the tip of his sword to her face. I told you to surrender everything. Are you deaf? He asked sharply. His gaze was cold and unyielding. You have 10 seconds, he declared. 10, 9. His lips curled into a smirk. Damn, this is pretty nice, he muttered, looking at the pile of items that had fallen beside him after her defeat. Sashimi, steel wrist guards, tights, and Kanoi's discreet garter belt. She was overgeared. No wonder she fought so well, he thought. This is way better than normal loot. He picked up the garter belt with a puzzled look. But what even is this thing, he wondered. A distant announcement echoed. 10 minutes until the next test. Time sure flies, he said. He glanced at the knife he'd taken from Juma. Let's speed things up. From the darkness, armored rat-like creatures appeared, hissing and charging at him. Let's finish this quickly, Jin-sung muttered. He lunged forward, his blade flashing. One by one, the monsters fell. Soon the ground was littered with their corpses. He stood silently, holding one by the tail while another remained stuck to his blade. Test level 2 complete, a faint voice echoed. Good, he muttered. Next. He stepped through another glowing gate. Skip the waiting, he said impatiently. Just start. And instantly, the next stage began. He fought through wave after wave of monsters, lizards, rats, slimes, and soldiers. each one falling faster than the last. At one point, he stopped, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. What came after these guys again? He murmured. Then, a new batch appeared. Lizardmen, armed with jagged blades. One charged at him, swinging an axe. Jin Sung's eyes gleamed. His sword flashed, and the lizard's head rolled to the ground. Guess I can still use any weapon easily, he thought. That's probably from my past life. I cleared gladiator mode before regression. He remembered the endless trials, mastering hundreds of weapons and techniques. The body doesn't forget what it learned through hard practice, he told himself, cutting through another line of monsters. Everything I learned back then is still here. He finished them all and stepped forward, calm and ready. Next, he said. Somewhere far away a crystal ball glowed, showing his every move. Maria, how's the testing ground? A man's voice asked. A bearded officer sat behind her. Hatson. Not much to see, Maria replied. Just a bunch of newbies who don't know what they're doing. So no one promising? Hatson asked. Not really, she sighed. Maybe a few good enough to use as cannon fodder, but that's about it. Huh, he muttered, puffing on his cigar. Tens of thousands apply, and we can't find a handful worth sending to the field. Maria shrugged. Honestly, at this rate, NPCs might be more useful than explorers. True, Hatson said with a tired smile. Back in the early stages, at least there were guys who claimed to be from other worlds. We're just training obedient soldiers now, Maria replied. Don't expect too much. The narrator's voice filled the air. Across the continent, adventurers of every race and class joined guilds that accepted anyone, no matter their background. But the truly gifted ones were always taken by the Royal Academy or the Magic Tower. Meanwhile, low-level tasks and quests piled up, undone. Hatson exhaled smoke. Guess we'll have to train them from scratch again, he muttered. Even if we take in new recruits, it won't be enough. Maria suddenly leaned forward, excitement in her eyes. There is one interesting case, she said. A unique one. Hatson raised an eyebrow. Unique? Yes. 9 people died in the first test level, and the last one is clearing everything alone, she explained. He's blazing through the trials. 9 died in the first level? Hatson said, shocked. Even a normal man can handle goblins. How? No one gave up, Maria said with a small grin. But he killed all of them himself. Hatson froze. You're saying? Yes, she interrupted. He killed the other 9 participants and kept going alone. He's now on level 9. Hatson stared at the glowing orb, stunned, as Jin Sung, Damien in the system, fought his way forward. Blood covered his armor as he sat on the ground, surrounded by the corpses of dark elves. Strange, he muttered. If I remember right, level 8 should have had slimes, and level 9 skeleton mages. But I got orc warriors and dark elves instead? He shrugged. Whatever, as long as I get the rewards. He stepped through another gate, facing a massive door marked level 10. The last stage, he said. If I remember correctly, it should be a slime king, a mud golem, or a blood goblin. He smiled confidently. That'll be easy. But a deafening roar shook the ground. Jin Sung froze, eyes widening. What the hell? He whispered. Before him stood a towering minotaur, muscles bulging, horns scraping the ceiling. His jaw tightened. No way. These bastards sent me a minotaur? The creature roared again, shaking the air. Guess I have no choice, Jin Sung said, stepping forward. I'll think later, after I kill it. Red energy surged around him as he raised his hand. Watch closely, he said calmly. I'll be quick. The minotaur snorted, confused for a moment, then howled in rage. Jin Sung vanished from where he stood, reappearing beside its massive head. You know, he said with a smirk, you're a bit too chewy when cooked normal. You should be marinated first. He uncorked a vial of green liquid, the decay elixir, and threw it at the beast. Instantly, green light spread across its body as its defenses crumbled. The monster bellowed in pain. That's more like it, Jin Sung said. He leapt, his sword slicing through the air. The minotaur swung wildly, smashing the ground with its fists. Each time, Jin Sung dodged and struck back, red light flashing around him. You're just beef, cowhead! He shouted as his blade cut deep. The minotaur roared louder, its eyes glowing red with fury. The beast stomped, sending rocks flying, then began hurling them one after another. Jin Sung weaved through the air, his movements sharp and effortless. Did you really think I'd fall for such slow attacks? He yelled, grinning. Despite this being life or death, my blood's boiling. His grin widened. This feeling, it's fighting spirit. His heartbeat thundered as he charged forward again, eyes locked on the monster. "Let's see how soft you've become," he said. The Minotaur mirrored his stance, fists clenched, both ready to strike with everything they had. The hero rushes toward the enemy with a knife in his hand, jumping high and flipping over the monster's head. The Minotaur tries to grab him midair, but misses. "Would you look at that? You're still holding on," Jin Sung says mockingly. The hero steadies himself, crossing his knife and sword in front of him. A Minotaur's weakness is right here, he thinks. With both hands, he strikes down hard. A bright flash explodes on impact, and blood spurts from the Minotaur's body. System messages flash before his eyes. Critical hit. Minotaur's phantom is bleeding. Jin Sung crouches, watching the monster behind him gush purple blood. Another message appears. Minotaur's phantom is near death. Holding his sword tightly, he stares at the collapsing beast. Is it over? He wonders. You have defeated Minotaur's phantom. A voice announces, Test level 10 complete. Calculating results. Explorer Damien has earned 10 points. The Minotaur's huge body sparkles as it fades away. Jin Sung exhales, surprised. I didn't expect this kind of monster, but it wasn't as hard as I thought, he thinks. I can't even tell what level I'm at anymore. I've grown a lot since I started. Unbelievably so. He looks at his jagged sword and smiles faintly. All right, I just have to keep moving. Another announcement rings out. Explorer Damien's total score is 100 points. The test has ended. He walks into a gate glowing with blinding light. On the other side, he finds himself in a grand hall filled with tall arches. At a table sits Hatsun, who looks up as Jin Sung appears. I'm here, Jin Sung says. Oh yeah, you're here, Hatsun replies with a smirk. The test must have been quite the ride. Well, it wasn't easy, Jin Sung says, waving casually. Hatsun studies him quietly. Summon gate cleared in record time. First in overall combat skills, first in judgment and execution, killed all fellow participants. No wonder Maria called him a unique case. He recalls Maria's excited words. We have to scout him no matter what. She really wasn't exaggerating, Hatsun thinks. Your results are impressive, Hatsun says aloud. Though killing the other participants, that bothers me. Jin Sung shrugs. I'm good at judging people. Those guys were all bad. I don't normally kill anyone. It's not a habit. Hatsun laughs. That makes you sound more like a psycho. Jin Sung smiles and raises his hand. Then I don't know what to say. It's not an excuse, he thinks. I've played this game long enough to read people easily. But if Hatsun still rejects me, I can forget about the license. Hatsun glances at the papers between them. You don't seem like trouble, but you can't act like that again. A guild member's blade should face monsters, not humans. Of course, I know, Jin Sung replies. Hatsun folds his hands. Then one last question. Will you take the license and work as a mercenary for the Adventurers Guild? Jin Sung grins. Of course, it'd be an honor. Hatsun hides a smile and shakes his hand. All right, from now on, you're part of the Adventurers Guild. You have obtained an adventurer license. Affiliation changed to Adventurers Guild. Jin Sung pumps his fist. It's finally over. He looks at the license in his hand. Adventurer license. Gold tier. Now that I'm part of the guild, I can take quests and hear news from all over the continent, he thinks. Another notification pops up. Title earned. Record time clear. Not bad, he thinks, reading the details. Attack speed and movement speed, both boosted by 3%. Do you like the rank? Hatsun asks. Of course, Jin Sung says proudly. The gold tier is given only to those who've passed Maria's toughest tests, Hatsun thinks. Gold licenses are worth 10 iron and 3 silver. You'll be able to take high-ranking quests. I see, Jin Sung replies. Hatsun hands him a few quest cards. These are gold tier missions. Choose one. It'll be your first. Jin Sung scans the cards. Deep waterway exploration, Drake's breath cultivation, disappearing sheep in Cornell Village. What's this one? He asks, pointing to the card with a ram on it. Ah, that's a village called Cornell, Hatsun explains. The government sent that one. Sheep keep vanishing. The area's remote, so they'd rather pay someone to handle it than send knights. So I can deal with it however I want? Jin Sung asks. Pretty much, Hatsun replies. From what I've heard, it's probably wolves. Just bring results that satisfy both the village and the government. Jin Sung nods. Doesn't sound bad. I'll do it. Quest created. The village where the sheep vanished. Accept? Yes, he says, pressing the blue window. A gold tier mission, huh? This should be interesting. He turns to leave. Then I'll be back. Good luck, Hatson says. See you, Hatson. Jin Sung waves and heads out. Let's go, he thinks excitedly. Outside, holding the quest card, he looks around. Is it this way? Before him, high cliffs glow under the sunlight. New location data updated. Cells Valley 3. He checks the map. Cornell Village, between the Terra Kingdom and the Principality of Pharma, also called the Ivory Tower of Truth. He sighs. I thought I was close, but it's still far. No wonder they didn't send knights. He rubs his chin. I accepted a gold mission, but have no equipment or party. It hasn't been long since I started, and I can't afford mercenaries. Better solo it. It's not like I couldn't find a team, he tells himself. Suddenly, he snaps his fingers. If I can't find party members, I'll just create them. He activates Control the Dead, level 1. A glowing magic circle forms. Did it work? A small voice squeaks. Are you my owner? He blinks. In front of him stands an angry chicken with a patch on its head. Nice to meet you, owner, it chirps. What the hell is this? Jin Sung mutters. I'm your summon, says the chicken proudly. Wow, it talks, Jin Sung says, poking its head. Can I even use this thing? I didn't think something this useless would show up. What? I'll kill you, the chicken yells. A prompt asks him to name it. A name for this useless thing, huh? He mutters. Don't you already have one? I was just born, the chick replies. How would I? Then, bundle, Jin Sung decides. Bundle? The chick repeats, annoyed. Yeah, like a bundle of fur. Cute, right? I heard that, the chick screams, jumping onto his head. This thing's got a terrible personality, Jin Sung groans. That was the moment my first summon was born, he thinks. They continue walking under sharp rocks glinting in sunlight. Stay close. If you fall behind, I'll leave you, Jin Sung warns. Yes, owner, the chicken replies. He checks the system window. Cells Valley 6. There should be a side path nearby. That way. Sliding down a slope, he says, I've got to go somewhere. New location data updated. Farber Forest. He stands beneath tall trees. Same as before. Not a popular place. Too far, not worth the trouble. He remembers reading user comments. Skip Farber Forest. The mobs are annoying and tanky. And the main reason people avoid this place are the monsters themselves. Above him hang strange caterpillars resembling unripe bananas. Farber cocoons. Level 25 insect type. Their strings are strong and sticky. He looks up. They're high up, hard to attack and defend, but let's try. He grips a flask filled with green liquid, decay elixir. Ready? He throws it like a baseball, hitting the biggest caterpillar. Shoot, he shouts. Green fluid bursts from under its belly. Strike, he cheers as it drops. One by one, more fall from the branches. Farber has fallen. Defense decayed. Defense power decreased. Jin Sung grins, approaching. Like fruit falling off a tree. Suddenly, pink ovals on one caterpillar's forehead glow. It spits sticky webbing. Too slow, Jin Sung says, raising a blowpipe to his lips. 3 darts shoot into its body. The hero charged at the minotaur with a knife, vaulting over the beast and landing behind it. The monster lunged, trying to grab him, but its massive hand closed on empty air. Still holding on, huh? Jin Sung taunted, sliding the tip of his knife close to the minotaur's cheek. He crossed knife and sword, found the beast's weak spot, and struck with both hands. A bright flash exploded on impact. Purple blood sprayed from the wound. Critical, bleeding, near death. The minotaur crumpled and then winked out of existence.